Rocky is appearing on video because he's a movie star. No, it was just difficult to arrange getting Rocky on camera live. So we have this video. Rocky is an Amazon. I want to remind people as we start to talk, and I'll be talking with Shauna about Rocky. If you have questions, you can put them in the Q&A channel, and we'll do our best to get them answered. So here's Rocky. Tell us a little bit about Amazons in general and about Rocky and what kind of Amazon he is.
Jonathan, I'm happy to be here today to talk about this awesome Amazon and Amazons in general. Rocky is a 39-year-old blue front Amazon.
So let's stop right there. 39 years old. That's,
yes.
That's older than many people in our audience, I'm sure. Is that old for an Amazon? How old do they get?
Well, he's actually probably what you would consider middle-aged. Amazons can have a life expectancy of around 60 to 80 years. So he still has quite a few years ahead of him, but he's not a younger bird, but he's not too old by any means.
Kind of analogous to a 40-year-old person. So,
exactly.
So tell us a little bit about Amazons. I know they're known for being really smart and also really loud.
Yes.
What's it like spending time with Rocky?
Yes, Amazons are on the louder side of the bird
spectrum
community. And so he does have his moments where he can be quite loud. So that's something anybody considering adopting an Amazon would want to take into consideration. They are very, very active and feisty little birds sometimes. They can be a handful at times, especially during the breeding season. And Rocky certainly does fit that description. He does have his moments. Right here, we're seeing in the video where he is really enjoying his head scritches and he's enjoying his foster mom giving him some attention. But we don't want to let that let people think that that's how Amazons are all the time. As I mentioned, they do have their feisty sides to them. So he has shown that he has a liking towards more of the female caregiver in the home.
He likes
yes, he has gone after the man of the house. So that is also something we want people to consider when adopting Rocky. That
he would do better with a woman as his primary caretaker.
Exactly, he would.
That has to do with his backstory. Tell us a little bit about how Rocky came to Mickaboo and what he's been through.
Yes, Rocky was found by a good Samaritan who saw that he was being kept outside all the time in the front yard of a house where there were children who were taunting him a lot. So he was able to persuade the owner to relinquish Rocky to him. But unfortunately, Rocky was very, very bonded to the person who found him, so who rescued him from that situation, I should say. So did not get along at that time with the other birds in the home and did not want to share that attention. In his current foster home, though, we're finding, however, there are other Amazons, and he does do okay with those other Amazons. So, it's just finding, and maybe that he's now in a safer environment and he's more comfortable. That and as we can see, there's one of the Amazons coming over to check out what's going on. That double yellowhead Amazon is Miho, and that is a Mickaboo alumni birdie who found his forever home there in the foster home, so he has been adopted. But as you can see, Rocky's doing okay with having Miho present.
With Miho there.
Yeah, he's doing okay with that. And
So
the foster home also has dogs present, so Rocky has not tended to be overstressed with them around, although they don't come in direct contact, but it hasn't stressed him out, so he would probably do okay with other animals in the house as long as they're, kept
yeah,
safe
kept
and
appropriately and
and
safely
yeah.
socially
And
distanced. So I want to just recap because you've just given us so much great information. Um, and one is, that Rocky's been through a lot, but has come through it still really, um, really doing well with a female caregiver and
yes,
willing to be touched and scritched. Doesn't do as well with men, probably does not do particularly well with children, but is not freaked
correct.
out by dogs. So all of these things are important if you're considering a bird like Rocky. He could do really well with a female caregiver who has a dog and doesn't have small children.
Or
Um,
has other, other birds
for
seem to do
Amazons
okay with
in
that too.
particular.
Yes, so
Yeah,
that
anyhow,
was a good point. That was a very good point you brought out about children. So, it would be best for Rocky to not go to a home where there are smart children because of his experience with them. We do not want to put him in a situation where he might
he was,
attack the children
he
or
was, he
bite.
was pretty traumatized. So yeah, that
Yeah,
would be a bad
yeah.
situation. Want to remind people that if you have questions about Rocky, you can ask them in the Q&A. Um, does Rocky have any health issues? I know when I turned 40, I started having some aches and pains.
Yes, actually, Rocky is on two oral medications, meaning that they're given by mouth. So he's not on any injectable medications, which is good. So um, that's a little easier to give to him. But he's on two medications twice a day.
How do you give him the oral medications? Can we
Rocky has been doing well with taking his meds when you put him in food.
that's
So, usually we would uh, towel gently towel the bird and give them their medicine directly into their mouth. But sometimes you'll have a bird like Rocky that will eat it with his food. So that's worked out pretty well for him.
and what's his diet like?
Rocky is on a pelleted diet of Supreme. He likes to have a nuts like a walnut or maybe an almond as a nice treat. He gets his fresh foods, so he loves apples, pea pods, cherries. Sometimes he'll eat grapes, carrots, broccoli. So, we always encourage people to try different vegetables and fruit to see what their birds really like and go after and to give them some variety. Um, Amazons, the other thing I to point out with Amazons is that they can uh, sometimes be not as active, and you can see Rocky's a little overweight there, so uh, you want to make sure that they're getting a lot of activity out of cage time where they can move around, and they want to have a cage that's big enough for them to move around in and get some exercise so they don't become perch potatoes. And also watch their food portions so that they're not, overeating and becoming overweight. So that's something, also to take into mind with Amazons. They do love their food. They eat
Yeah.
with gusto. So,
We have a question coming in.
oh, sure.
Does Rocky fly?
Um, he probably does. He is, being a little that he's getting up there a lot. He's probably not as active and not as much. But as I mentioned before, that he did go after the husband in the foster home, so
He flew to do
he
that.
does have that ability to fly.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. The other question as we're wrapping up is about what are the medication costs for him per month or per year?
I do not have that information.
Okay, so an adopter could a potential adopter could ask that of the species
Yes,
coordinator.
right.
While birds are in foster, Mickaboo covers their medical expenses. You know, we mentioned that he's on medication, but we didn't say what it's for.
Well, the medications that is on are for arthritis, and that are often given to birds that have sclerosis of the heart. So,
Got it.
as an older bird, these things can happen. And again, as I was mentioning, when we're not keeping them active enough and watching their weight, sometimes the bearing all that weight on their legs can cause that arthritis and cause them to have more difficulty, which is like a vicious cycle because then it also
Then they
makes
can.
them not as active.
Yep.
So,
Boy, he's really just got a lovely temperament. You can see it in the video. So in 30 seconds or so, as we're wrapping up, anything that you would like to share with potential adopters, something else that they should be aware of with Rocky?
well, the last thing is just in talking about toys. Rocky loves to chew things up, so he loves anything he can chew up, like wood toys, balsa blocks, crinkle paper, cardboard. It's nice to give him that exercise. It gives him something to destroy and get out that energy with. So he's gonna be a very, very nice um, companion for a female caregiver who has the patience with him and has experience with Amazon behavior.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Shauna, for sharing Rocky. He's certainly
Thank,
been through a lot, and he's what a wonderful bird. Thank you.
thank you.